What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Hit the books week or season. Geez, I'm all over the place. Season 5, episode 19. We have our NFL divisional round week. We just ended with the wild card, super wild card weekend, whatever you want to call it, this past week. We went through that last week on the pod. We had a live stream as well, going through our plays there. Me and Abik on the pod this week. Abik, a returning guest. No Ace, no Mackie, no Jesse. Some conflicting schedules this week. A Beak filling in. We appreciate it. How are we doing? How are we feeling heading into the divisional round?
Feeling good. Cleaned the books out last week. Went 5-1 on money line picks. Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely. That was a hell of a pick. That was a hell of a game. It ended up being a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Bills were going to kind of have their way with them. We can recap some of these wild card games. Obviously, the Bills were one of the big ones, a 1.5 point spread. It was going back and forth all week. We didn't know which way it was going to close. I know we were talking when the Bills got to plus money, you got to lock that one in. That ended up pulling out. They get the win in Jacksonville. 49ers upsetting the Eagles as a 6-point dog. I like that one there. Aces Patriots handling business on Sunday Night Football. And then my Steelers getting absolutely the doors blown off them on Monday Night Football. Packers losing to the Bears and the Rams losing to the Panthers. Other than that Bills game, what was maybe your most shocking side or result in one of these wildcard games?
I would have to say the most shocking result had to be the Steelers-Texans game. I mean, I knew it was going to be like a slugfest, but up to the fourth quarter, it was 7-6.
I was saying, and it was 7-6 up until the fourth quarter when things got out of hand.
Yeah, and then the unfortunate fumble, and then the pick six, and it was over for. And if it's the end for Rodgers, it was a good run. But I hope to see him back for one more year, wherever it is. But if it is the end, it was a great career.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll kind of hint at it. Speaking of my Steelers, they have added to the list of teams with a head coaching vacancy after 19 years. Mike Tomlin is has informed the Steelers that he is stepping down as the team's head coach. How are we feeling with this news? What do you think for this means for the Steelers? And what would the dream signings and head coach and coordinators be, at least for what I think? My dream scenario, and they've already put out interviews for these guys. Chris Shula, defensive coordinator from the Rams. It seems like he fits the mold of what the Steelers like, what they're going for, what they've gone for historically. I'd like to see him as the defensive or head coach coming over as a defensive coordinator from the Rams. I'd like to see that Nate Scheelhaus or a Mike McDaniel, one of these young and up-and-coming offensive coordinators. I know McDaniel is just getting off being fired as a head coach down in Miami. I think him taking a step back to the coordinator role could be big. And then I think you could put almost anybody. Raheem Morris maybe as a defensive coordinator. I know those are all some pretty big names. It's easy to throw all the names out there, but Chris Shula is the main guy that I'd like to see fill the Pittsburgh Steelers head coaching vacancy and take over for a guy like Mike Tomlin. I don't know what you think, what you've heard is, on the outside, but what do you think? How do you feel about Tomlin on the way out? Did you see that one coming?
Honestly, yes and no, only because it's been almost 18, 19 years since he's coached. So I figured it was a matter of time before he got canned.
A change or something. Whether I like how it happened. The fact that he left on or whatever, stepping down, so the Steelers still have the rights for him. If any team wants to sign him, whether whoever it might be, the Cardinals, the Jet, whatever it might be. I'm just throwing teams out there. I know the Jets don't even need. I meant the Giants, but they're gonna have to throw some picks the Steelers way, similar to the Broncos when they wanted to go out and sign Sean Payton. They had to throw the Saints. I think it was a first and a second rounder. I don't know if we'll get that for Tomlin, but getting any kind of return. Steelers are Rooney. The owner came out and said today, I think in an interview, that he was going to keep him. He didn't expect to have that conversation when Mike came in and had that. But I think I also like Tomlin's decision to kind of force the Steelers to force their hand to make a move and move on and kind of rip the Band-Aid off and let's start fresh.
Yeah, and honestly, who would have thought after the year this has been, Zach Taylor survived as the only standing head coach in the AFC North.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how he's the only one left with the job. If you would have said that those betting odds probably would have been plus 50,000 at the beginning of the year. But yeah, looks like he's the only one standing in the AFC North. But obviously, like I said, the other coaches the Steelers requested interviews for, other than Chris Shula, Nate Skillhouse, I think he's a assistant coach slash like passing game coordinator, some title for the Rams. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator of the Chargers, and Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. So it's looking like they're going to go with another defensive mind. Maybe get that Skillhouse and Shula as a little package deal as your head coach and offensive coordinator. That would be nice. Bringing both of those guys over. But we do have a great divisional slate this weekend. Enough head coach talk. We had a great wild card slate leading into some great games this weekend. We have 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Winners going to their respective conference championships. We're going to start things out at 4 at 4:30 in Denver. I cannot talk tonight. The Bills going to Mile High to take on the Broncos. The Broncos are the favorite at 1.5. Over under at 46. Broncos on the money line minus 118. Bills minus 102. Do you back the Bills again this week, or does the luck run out up there in Mile High for this one-seeded Broncos team?
I will be back in the Bills again. This Broncos team, I just don't know I don't have a feel for them. And Ace is probably going to roast me later, but I could say the same about the Patriots. Bo Nix is so inconsistent, so you rarely know which Bo Nix you're going to get week to week. And that Denver defense, while it is tough, it can be scored on. And I value experience more than youth in the playoffs. And I feel like this is the year for Josh to do it. And honestly, if Josh is able to pull off a Super Bowl run with the scraps of receivers he has, there should be no more Josh Allen slander on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, because that's in my eyes more than enough to get the slander off of him.
Yeah, and obviously, I think they lost. Did he lose Gabe Davis halfway through that game last week? Is he a go in this game in Denver? Not that.
Nah, he tore his ACL.
Oh, so yeah, that's done. Yeah, I agree though. I do like the Bills in this game. I think I'm not big on this Broncos team. I think they were hanging around in some close games on the right side of a lot of close games this year. I think this is shaping up to be the Bills' year to get back to the AFC Championship. It's going to be tough to go on the road in every game in the playoffs. And another game, if they get to the AFC Championship, it will be at Houston or at New England, no matter who wins. But give me the Bills on the road, minus the 102 on the money line. I think they handle business. I think that shaky Bills defense does enough to get Bo Nix off his game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, but I think Josh Allen's going to get his. I would lean on the under 46.5. I don't know what the weather conditions are up there in Denver on Saturday, but I'm expecting a good one. Give me the Bills minus the 102 on the money line. A beak in agreement there. Our Saturday night game, we have a great game here. San Francisco at Seattle. We saw this game just 2 weeks ago. The last game that the Seahawks played was in San Francisco, week 18, to win that 1 seed. But the Seahawks are the favorite here, minus 7, over under at 45. Seahawks are the money line or minus 350. 49ers plus 280. Any love for these 49ers on the road here, up facing that 12th man in Seattle?
Yes, well, it will be tough because going to the 12th man is always a rough ride.
Tough place to play.
I don't necessarily trust Sam Darnold because at any point the Jets, Sam Darnold can come out and start throwing interceptions.
Yep.
And I didn't watch much of the game 2 weeks ago in week 18, but I know that they had him on the goal line going in for at least a touchdown to be down by 6 before Brock Purdy threw the interception. So I know this game will be close at the end. Will the San Francisco 49ers win it? I don't necessarily know, but they'll do enough to cover the 7 points.
Yeah, the 7 points I don't love as much. I agree. I think the Seahawks win the game. I don't love them to cover that minus 7. A divisional matchup in the playoffs. These two teams, third time playing each other this year, with a lot of these divisional matchups that you get in the playoffs, obviously. But I do like both running backs to score in this one. And when I say both, I don't mean both Seahawks. I like McCaffrey. I like Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Obviously, he's been getting in a little bit more. They give him looks around the end zone. I don't necessarily like betting for how much I take first touchdowns. I don't love taking Charbonnet or Walker because you never know which one you're going to get. Give me Charbonnet minus 115 on an anytime touchdown. Give me Christian McCaffrey minus 135. Both those odds are on MGM. You could probably shop those and get those a little better. Just depends where you're going to be betting these at. But You think this is high scoring, low scoring? Give me a score prediction for here. Seattle 49ers.
Low scoring, both good defenses. I'll say somewhere in the 24-21 range. I figured San Francisco needs to give CMC about 20 touches to make this a competitive game. They only gave him 8 touches in week 18. Granted, I don't know if Kyle was trying to preserve him or kind of just make
Yeah, I think it
not
was.
as
I think that's a fair assessment. But do you think the Kittle injury affects them that much?
yes, but then I've seen that Jake Tonjes did well in his time when Kittle was out. So I think Jake Tonjes can fill in for Kittle. While granted Kittle has a skill set that can be replaced, Tonjes can be serviceable enough for Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And you were saying give McCaffrey touches. Obviously, I'm trying to see what some of these guys' props are set at. McCaffrey over under 55.5. That seems low. Same as Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet is at 47.5. Seeing McCaffrey at that low. He gets a lot of the rushing and receiving. Let's see what that's at. Rushing and receiving over under.
I would
He's at
take it rushing
106. He
receiving.
gets he's averaging 124 rushing receiving yards a game.
Huh. And what's his
So
rushing receiving for this game?
106.5 I have listed here on MGM.
That's worth a look, just in
Yeah,
case
I agree.
all this stuff comes through the air instead of the ground.
Yeah, yeah, I do like that. But like I said, I like McCaffrey on the touchdown. I like Charbonnet on the touchdown. You said Niners plus the 7. I think this is also a great teaser opportunity. You get the Niners at like plus 13.5. If you throw them in a 3-legger, you get even more. I think you got a lot of ways you could play this game, but I think the Seahawks win, so I'd be very weary of that. I do like the Seahawks to win this game at home. I think it's a tough place to play a divisional matchup. Seahawks have had their number this year. I think they get it one more time, minus the 350 on the money line. So far, we got the Bills. We were in agreement there, a beak on the Niners plus 7. I'm liking the Seahawks on the money line. I do think the 49ers is a good play, plus the points there. I think there will be some points. I think I like your score prediction 24-21, 24-20, something like that. I could see something like that come out to shape here with a 45-point total, too. So, but we'll move to Sunday. We have our 3 p.m. game on Sunday. I love the time slots when they do them like this with the 3 p.m. and 6:30 on the Sunday games. But we have the Houston Texans heading to New England to take on Aces Patriots. The Patriots are the favorite here at -3. Over under is at 41. The Patriots minus 170 on the money line, and the Texans plus 140. You got to think this is going to be a defensive battle. What we just saw that Texans defense do to the Steelers on Monday Night Football. I know the Steelers offense wasn't much, but coming into this game, I think you got to think under 41. At least I think most people are. But how are you feeling on this one coming into this game? Texans at Patriots.
It's going to be a tough one. I believe the Houston defense can keep them in the game. Like they'd probably have to pull an 85 Bears type performance just because of
And they're very capable of that.
how
I
pedestrian.
underestimated that defense heavily because I was so biased against them playing the Steelers. That defense is unreal.
They might have to do it because of how pedestrian CJ Stroud looks, and it really depends on which CJ Stroud shows up in New England. I could totally know for a fact Mike Vrabel will have something cooked up for CJ.
So do we know what's Nico Collins' status for this game? Have you heard anything on that?
He's in protocol, and usually if you're in protocol, you miss one game at least. I've never seen somebody come back the same
Injury
week.
update: Texans wide receiver concussion protocol. Divisional round. Let's see. I believe they said it's like 5 days to get through protocol or something that it takes a day each. It usually takes 5 days or something like that. They said he would have to be cleared Sunday morning to play, so he wouldn't practice all week. I did hear that, so that's going to be a huge miss if they don't have their biggest offensive weapon.
Correct.
Christian Kirk coming off a huge Monday night game against the Steelers. Could that be a replacement there? He's done it before. I don't love that option there. I think Nico Collins is gonna need to be in this game, especially looking like the Patriots are going to be getting Christian Gonzalez back.
Yes, and if there's a sack prop for Houston, I would take the over because the Chargers had 5 sacks last week against the Patriots.
Yeah,
If the Chargers can get 5, the Texans can definitely get more than that. So
yeah.
I would look for a prop on that.
I was gonna see. Let me see if they have game props. I don't even know where that would be. Punt return, touchdown, down punt, no. No, they don't have defensive props listed here yet. Game props, scoring props. Yeah, it's not under players either because it's like team sacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it listed here, but give me a give me a touchdown scorer in this game. The favorite, all these guys are +1 plus money, and what's predicted to be a low scoring game. Woody Marks the favorite at +150, Ramondre +160, Travion +175, Drake May at +190, Hunter Henry +200.
Honestly, Stephon Diggs, he's been quiet. I'm kind of waiting for a touchdown from him, and I think it happens this week. And also
I took it. I
Drake May
took
at
it a
plus
couple
three
weeks
hundred
ago. I
too.
like the +220 on Diggs. Yeah, May's +190 to run one in.
I got 300 for Drake May.
Damn, that's the difference. That's why you shop your odds. I'm looking at MGM. What are you looking at? DraftKings.
Yeah,
What do you have for Diggs?
220.
Okay, so same price there. That's crazy. It is crazy how the props differ like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like Woody Marks. I also doubted him in that Steelers game. I think you could see him get in the Texans, especially without Nico Collins. I think they're going to rely heavy on him and hope he can have a big game, and hope the defense can keep him in it, take the Patriots off the field, try to keep the Texans offense on the field, running the ball a lot. I expect a big game from him. In this game, though, I do think the Patriots will probably win unless that Texans defense can do something crazy. My favorite play in this one is the under 41.
yeah. I mean, I'll be rooting for Houston just because I all year New England squeaked by. And would I be surprised if the Patriots won? No, because I know
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels has seen
I
his history
I
of
think
good
it's shape.
defenses.
I think it's shaping up to be Bills Patriots in the AFC Championship.
I could roll with that again for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll move to Sunday Night Football, the last NFC matchup with the LA Rams heading to Chicago to take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Bears are the underdog here at home, getting 3.5 points. Over unders at 48.5. Bears on the money line +165. Rams -200. Can Matt Stafford get it done one more time, or does Caleb Williams and this Bears team just have too much black magic around them, and they just are going to keep coming in and stealing these games?
I think the luck runs out this week for the Bears. Unfortunately, the Rams are going to be too much
I
for
agree.
defense. And granted, they still came back last week, but for a majority of the half, Green Bay was going up and down, and the Rams are 10 times better than what the Packers are. So
Yeah,
I don't see them keeping the door open for the Bears to come back.
I agree. I think the Bears defense is going to have a hell of a time worrying about Nakua and Adams. I like both of them to score in this game. I took it in Carolina. Nakua got 2, Kyron got 1. I took all 3 of them. I think you could see me do that again here. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. The Bears have struggled to put up points in the early games, but their defense has certainly not, been shy to letting up points early. Look for Nakua, look for Adams, look for Kyron Williams to score. I think the Rams -3.5 might be my favorite play this weekend. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that Bears spread and be like, wow, Caleb Williams, the way this team's playing, you're getting 3.5 points at home, +165 on the money line. I mean, I haven't even looked at this, but I feel like the money's got to be all over Chicago.
I have it pulled up. It's actually right now it's 52% Rams, 48%
Do
Chicago
you
on the money
think
line.
that's skewed by, like, I guess money line? People love money line bets. I don't know.
But
Futures, do you think that's like swayed on like the amount of people that are futures on the Rams because they're a heavy?
yeah, I can say there's probably a lot of props on the Rams, but I will say though that the spread on Chicago is 61% compared to the Rams 39%.
I think if the Rams win, they cover. I think it's either Rams -3.5 or Bears money line.
Yeah, that's valid. Yes,
Like I don't think the Bears cover and lose.
correct.
So I don't see value in the Rams money line or Bears +3.5.
No,
But I like the Rams -3.5. That's probably my favorite side this week. Bills I like a lot, and probably the Rams -3.5,
yeah, and honestly, there's room for a
which is probably going to be my Super Bowl pick. Bills versus Rams.
there's room for a teaser on all the dogs this week, in my opinion. Looking at
I
it,
agree. You could bid what Bills?
7.5.
Yeah, even if you tease them all 4 together, you get like 12 points.
Yeah,
You'd get like Bills +13.5, 49ers plus like 17, Texans plus like 15. Bears plus like 15.5, 16.
Yeah, there that would hit easily.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, that's a solid NFL slate this week. We liked the Bills, the 49ers. We said plus the 7. I was on the Seahawks to win that one. We both said low scoring game in Sunday or in New England for the Texans and Patriots game. Beak said rooting for the Texans there. I do agree. Ace, it's mostly just because we have futures on Josh Allen. We want to see Josh Allen win the Super Bowl. We can't have Drake May win yet. You got a couple years. You got a bright future ahead of you. You can wait a couple more. But then Sunday Night Football, we have the Rams taking down the Bears minus 3.5. That's probably my play of the week. Other than that, our power rankings going into the divisional round real quick. We'll get into it with the Bills coming in at 5, the Broncos at 4, those Chicago Bears at 3, the Patriots at 2, and the Seahawks at 1. Obviously, the Rams, looked a little shaky in that game against Carolina. Got themselves kind of looking on the outside, looking in at our 6th spot, honorable mention, however you want to call it. But I think a solid list: Aces, Patriots, and the Seahawks sitting up top. The Broncos haven't played; they got a tough matchup this week. We're going to see what they look like coming out of a week of rest. Is it rest? Is it rust? I guess we'll find out this Saturday at 4:30. But Abik, you got anything else you want to get in? Any other NFL plays for anytime touchdowns, first touchdowns, anything else you like this week? Props you want to give out before we sign off here?
A little meme play of the day: Keon Coleman plus 550 to score. Because someone's got to score for Buffalo besides James Cook and Josh Allen. So might as well take a chance on one of the receivers because all the receivers' odds are going to be above plus 500. So that would be my sprinkle play of the day on Saturday.
I like that. Brandon Cooks even plus 375. I'm seeing.
I got 500 for him on mine.
Damn. DraftKings killing these anytime touchdown odds, at least on some of these. But obviously I've been killing these anytime touchdowns. Beak, we'll get you a card set up for this weekend. I still have your record and everything saved from when you were on earlier on. So obviously Saturday, Sunday, send me your plays. The whole way how we do it. So
perfect.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. We got conference championships. We got the national championship in football on Monday. I'm going to get into that real quick. We're going to get a Beak out of here. I'll close us out for the rest of what we got. But thanks for listening. A Beak, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. All right, we are back. College football national championship. We got number 10, Miami, number 1, Indiana. Indiana's an 8.5-point favorite, over under at 47.5. Excuse me. Indiana on the money line is minus 350. Miami plus 280. Obviously, this game being played at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. This is a home game, and the first time a college football team will play a home national championship game. With that being said, Miami getting 8.5 points on their home field in a national championship game is tempting, but Indiana has shown no signs of weakness. I cannot bet against them in this spot. I would take Indiana minus the 8.5. I love them on the money line. I think they handle business. It doesn't matter how much money's on this team. Signetti has shown, Mendoza has shown, they're going to show up in these big moments, and that's why I like Indiana minus 8.5. I think Mendoza will do enough. Carson Beck obviously got them in this spot against that Ole Miss team in a huge semifinal win, gets that game-winning rushing touchdown, bleeding out the clock late, so Ole Miss doesn't have much of a chance. Indiana moves on over Oregon in an absolute ass-kicking. Dante Moore going back to Oregon. We can kind of touch on that as well. He's going to be going back to Oregon, foregoing the NFL draft. Do we think this is the right move for him? Raiola just committed to Oregon. He said he would be comfortable sitting and waiting his turn. Obviously, we're going to see another year of Dante Moore up there in Eugene for the Oregon Ducks. But in this game, I like Indiana minus the 8.5 points. You can stay tuned for all of our official plays, though. HitTheBooks.pod on Instagram, HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter. I'm going to read through our power rankings here in the NHL and NBA before we get out of here with some MLB news. We have in the NHL our power rankings for this week. The Detroit Red Wings coming in at number 5. The Carolina Hurricanes at 4, the Dallas Stars at 3, the Tampa Bay Lightning at 2, and you guessed it, the Colorado Avalanche at 1. We're going to jump over to the NBA for the Minnesota Timberwolves at 5, the Denver Nuggets at 4, the Detroit Pistons at 3, the San Antonio Spurs at 2, and again, you guessed it, the Oklahoma City Thunder sitting at number 1. But before we get out of here, we got some MLB news with Aces Boston Red Sox agreeing to a 5-year, $130 million deal with starting pitcher Ranger Suarez. Suarez is going to be joining a rotation of Crochet, Sonny Gray, Yohan Oviedo, and now Ranger Suarez. Could this Red Sox team be a scary team in the playoffs next year? I think absolutely. Obviously, they were a scary team at certain points of the season this year. They looked like they were maybe just a year early. Some of those young pieces started to come up and show some life for them. Look for the Red Sox to be in the picture next year for sure. And then another team that you can expect to be in the picture this time in the NL with the Chicago Cubs agreeing to terms with third baseman Alex Bregman coming over from those Boston Red Sox on a 5-year, $175 million deal to bring Bregman to Wrigleyville and bolster this club's lineup. Do we think this is the right move for the Cubs? Is Kyle Tucker next? I think this is the right move for the Cubs. You go get a huge guy. You could bolster up that infield, like we said, with guys like Dansby Swanson. Is Kyle Tucker next for the outfield? You got to hope so if you're a Cubs fan. Going to be something to keep an eye on there in the MLB. But you heard me and Abit go through all of our NFL plays this week in the divisional round. You can catch all of our official plays. HitTheBooks.pod on Instagram, HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter. We'll get Abit's official plays out there for you as well this weekend for the divisional round. Stay tuned for any plays. We go out on the college football national championship on Monday, college basketball all weekend, NHL, NBA, everything else in between. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next week for the conference championships in the NFL. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.